Welcome to Susie's Enchanted Crossroads, a podcast that helps you navigate your journey through the crossroads. I'm Susie, and together we will be taking a deeper look into witchcraft and spirituality. So settle in, and let's get this episode going. Hello, gorgeous soul. Welcome back. Ooh, my goodness. All right, let's talk about this eclipse season, okay? Because, girl, when I tell you this shit had me fucked up. It had me all the way fucked up. And normally, like, I am the one that's like, yeah, I make eclipse water. Like, I still like to do some workings utilizing the eclipse energy because it's still energy. You can still use it. And and here's where I was like thinking I really need to make eclipse water because it was it was literally putting me through the ringer, and I thought, ooh, this kind of water would be fantastic in either, I don't know, return to sender, war water, like freezer spells. You could use that shit. You know what I mean? Mm. But I was too busy trying to literally clean my space, clean and cleanse my space because I today I'm recording on Mabon, the Autumn Equinox, right? And I'm just like, hell no, I do not want this energy. And the moon was in Virgo. I am a Virgo sun, and I was already feeling like my house, my space needed to be clean. Like literally needed to be clean. I had already cleaned out my closet, but the bag was just sitting there, bag full of clothes, taking up space, so that's stagnant energy right there. So I ended up cleaning that and moving it. Anywho, I was deep cleaning my house, starting with the kitchen on Saturday. And some of you already heard this if you're family of all sorts, but I was scrubbing down my microwave on the outside, and I wear gloves, okay? And so I'm scrubbing that sucker and it slips, right? It slips, and then I literally couldn't find the sponge. I was like, where looking on the floor, looking behind me, where did it fly off to? Because that sucker flew out of my hands. And I was like, looking around, someone playing a joke on me. Where the fuck is the sponge? And I look up and I see that the backsplash is wet. And yes, friend, my sponge flew out of my hands, hit the backsplash, and fell behind the stove. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me, bro. And so I told my husband, I was like, the sponge fell behind the stove. And he looked back there. He's like, oh, yeah, that's gone. And there was a moment between us, and I was like, sir, I know you know me. And he was like, you want me to pull the stove out? I was like, yes, pull the stove out. So he pulled it out, pulled the stove out, okay? Because that sounded weird. And I was like, yep, there it is. And as he was pulling the stove out, I was like, I haven't cleaned back here since we moved in, which has already been a few years. And I was like, that was the way my house spirit told me. All right, hood rat, you cleaning back here. Period. Clean every crevice. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So yeah, there I am, cleaning. Sticky, nasty, gunky, just the worst. And I've seen worse like on TV, but I was like, gosh, damn. Like I was literally scrubbing grease and just things that fell, fell in the crevices. I even like found kibble. How it got there, I don't know. So I was like, Cody boy, what are we doing here? Needless to say, I cleaned all of that, cleaning the rest of the house, cleaning the bathroom. The bathroom took me hours because I'm telling you, I was deep cleaning. I hair from the drain in the shower. And that's just a pain in the butt because my husband also has to do that because the little catcher is like screwed on in our shower. So we need to bring out, a tool like the drill to take that shit off to get the hair that's been collecting. And don't worry, friend. I already got a little thing off the TikTok shop. So that way it's a little sticky thing. It catches the hair. I just got to pull that right off and replace it. All that to say, today with the equinox in September, I am ready to bring in all that I have been manifesting now that I have created space. Now that I have created space, I am able to, with both hands wide open, tell the universe, I am ready for my blessings. I am ready for the things I've been manifesting. I am ready, and I am no longer blocking myself because, I mean, I love order. I love things to be clean, but the way that I get like a paralysis if it starts to pile up is so real. So I don't know if any of you deal with that. Like, it's just overwhelming. And so then you're stuck at a paralysis, and I'm like, ugh, okay. I'll just do this later. And I know this, and I continue to still do that because that is something I need to work on. It's okay. So, in this episode, I I have a lot that I wanted to talk about, right? Because y'all know I love to chit chat with you. But wherever you are, friends, whether you're ready and you're always clean out the space and you do the big rituals and you do the big cleanses, I'm here to support you in that. If you're here and you're like, fuck, I can barely even listen to this episode because I'm commuting or I just needed 5 seconds to myself, I'm also here to support you. Because no matter where we are in our paths, right, we're always going to have that sponge behind the stove moment, right? Okay. We were on the road. We were on the path, on the journey, okay? On the journey to do what we set ourselves to do, right? Whether that's a daily ritual, whether that's actually getting up and cleaning the way I was doing, whether that's picking up your tarot deck or being a content creator, doing, I don't know, a self-care for yourself. And maybe you started really, really good, and then all of a sudden you hit that lull, right? You hit that, ugh, I just had the longest trying day. Oh my gosh, I don't have time for this. Or the universe literally puts something in your way. Maybe not in your way, but there's a little like a little speed bump or a little detour. This road is closed for construction. Maybe it slows you down in a way where you're just like, what's happening? And that was literally the sponge flying out. There was no reason, you guys, that sponge flew out of my hand. And you're confused for a minute, right? Because you're like, wait a minute. I was doing all the things. I wrote down my manifestations. I folded the paper towards me. I wrote it on the bay leaf. I did my intention candle and I cleared my circle and asked for my guides and my deities to come in and my higher self. And I lit the bay leaf on fire and I put it in my fireproof dish and I cleansed myself after and I did the smoke cleanse and the tarot reading and I did the Reiki and I was ready. I was gung ho. Why am I being forced to stop? We're confused, right? I was confused. Where the hell is the sponge? But then we realize, shizzle, I know the next thing I gotta do. Now, I very easily could have just pulled the stove out myself. Maybe not easily, but I could have done it. I could have done it. It would have been a little extra work. It would have probably, I don't know, taken a little bit more time. I could have done it myself. However, I know that I have a hard time asking for help. I am a doer all by myselfer. Okay. Like I get things done because, oh, and in quotes, okay, air bunnies, only I know how to do it right. You don't know how to do it. But in that point in time, I was like, I'm going to ask someone for help, for guidance, for assistance. And at first, it's, oh, well, you know what? Well, that thing is long gone. It could have been like, oh, well, you tried. You know, you have those people around you, a friend, family, coworker. Maybe it's yourself and your inner self-talk, and you're just like, well, I tried. You know, maybe this just isn't for me. You know, maybe I'm just doomed to always have bad luck. Maybe I'm just supposed to stay in this dead-end job that sucks the soul out of me. Um, whatever. But there comes a point where you need to stand firmly on your 2 feet. I don't know if you can hear me stomping. On your 2 feet, roll your shoulders back and be like, no, I set myself on a path to do something because I know it needs to get done. I know that it's going to be for my best interests. I just have to do some maybe uncomfy things. And for me, it was ask for help. And then at that point, I could have said, oh, okay, well, he doesn't want to pull out the stove. He's probably like really busy, gonna do something, whatever. But I said, can we just pull the stove out? And like, yeah, we can pull the stove out. Cool, there it is. Now the next part was, do you need me to help you clean this up or get the sponge or whatever? And I was like, you know what? No, you assisted me in this. Now I have to do the work. And in that point, it was like actually cleaning and cleansing and picking up. But in other aspects, it's taking care of my mental health, or maybe it's for you, it's or taking care of your mental health. Maybe it's actually going and actually redoing your resume so that way you can put it out there in the world and start actively looking for a new job. Just putting your resume out there, filling out, I don't know, updates of, when you get hits on jobs available. Maybe it's actually taking the time where you say, all right, cool, I need a break. And at that point, you're able to do a hobby that you're not going to monetize. Like it is just a hobby. Whatever it is, my friends, like there's just times where and I don't want to say it's a test, but it's almost like the universe is like, okay, we've been here multiple times. And I'm gonna be honest, you guys, like I super deep cleaned it during the summer and it pissed me off too because I was like, why do I wait so damn long to deep clean my house? I should have a set schedule. And sometimes we'll have that set schedule, friends, and then life happens. And when life happens, then we fall behind. And by we, me. My husband and I, like I told my husband, like, we need to be better at house chores. We suck. Those are my words verbatim. So for him and I, we just need to figure out a balance, right? And that's what the equinox is all about, is finding the balance. Today on Mabon, on this autumn equinox, it is all about finding the balance. Today, the light and the dark are equal. That is something so beautiful. So that's where I'm at. I need to find that balance. And sometimes it's freaking hard, man. Like you're like, well, of course I want to balance. So this fall autumn equinox, I always see it as, okay, so we're looking at the wheel of the year, and we do need to discuss this, the wheel of the year. Maybe that'll be the next episode. But Mabon, which is the fall equinox, it's on the wheel of the year and it's a Sabbath, right? And this is honoring balance and gratitude because friends, we're saying bye to summer and some of us are like, hell yeah. bring on spooky season, which fair, I am actually very sick of the heat. But with this as a balance, notice that we're in Libra season now. And what's Libra? Balancing those scales. And as we say goodbye to summer, laters, we're also saying goodbye with day lasting longer than the night. So now our nights are going to become longer. But this is the most beautiful time where nature is finding a balance, y'all. So we also, in turn, are finding a balance. And that's beautiful because sometimes we do get off our balance, right? Sometimes we start juggling things because we feel like we have to, right? And since we closed out the solar eclipse, right, that chaos, it really did a number on me. And I want you to stop. Let's take like a couple breaths here. And let's think about what happened between the start of the lunar eclipse and the close of the solar eclipse that just happened on Sunday, yesterday. And what happened during this time period? Just even if you're just like, I don't fucking know, I can't remember past last week. Okay, let's just focus on last week. Because I'm going to tell you that things were going awry for myself with technology. I was making mistakes on things that I never make mistakes on because I've been doing it so often, like almost like on autopilot. Like I know how to do things and I made a mistake. All of a sudden, I felt I was picking up everybody else's work. So kind of see, and maybe yours wasn't negative. Maybe you were thriving in something. But let's take a few moments here and I want you to really think, just a couple of breaths. What did this eclipse bring you? What was it showing you by the actions and inactions of people around you or situations? Okay, so now that we focused, right? Cool. Where are you going to start, or how are we going to start taking what's being shown to us, noticing it, acknowledging it, giving it space, and then moving forward on that? Because this eclipse was literally a declutter. This is habits. This is your life. This is your exes. This is your freaking work and people around you. And if let's say you're a junk drawer, because I'm in the kitchen right now, right? Because I'm just telling you all about the kitchen. Oh, we all have a junk drawer, a junk basket, or a junk box, whatever. And it's maybe that's been you. Maybe you're taking on so many things. I got it. I got you. I got you. And this is, sure, I'll help you with this. I'll go ahead and organize that. Oh, my bestie's calling me and they're having a really hard time. Let me hold space for you. And everyone is starting to pile in things into this drawer, which is you. This eclipse was like when you're trying to open that drawer and it's stuck, because it's so packed and full. And it's fucking annoying, right? Because that little thing, and you got to reach your hand in there and kind of like see what's blocking it and lower it. And then, okay, try to not take your hand, rip off a layer of skin, right? As you open the drawer. And then you're just like looking at this madness and you're like, why do I do this to myself? Why do I have so many little ties here? What is this one battery? Is it good? Is it not? Why do these pins take up space and they don't even work? So this is where we are starting to empty out that drawer and just take things at a time that are no longer yours to carry. And this is setting up maybe stricter or firmer boundaries. Maybe you don't even get rid of anything in the junk drawer because everything is something that you need, but you reorganize it in a way where it doesn't feel so heavy. It doesn't feel so overwhelming. So, yeah, at work, I got to do a lot of things. I have to do these things. I can't hand them off to anybody, or I just cannot not do it. But I can start to ask for help, which is where I struggle, right? Me personally. So I can start delegating. I can't take that out of my junk drawer. This is my job. The eclipse is about shakeups, surprises. Yeah. And how do you adapt to it? So for me, my day-to-day routines, honestly, as I get here, it, it's been working, but then something else is thrown in the mix. And there, I thought it was up to me, like I had to do this thing. Ugh, this job didn't get done because this person didn't do it. Well, I gotta do it, or else it's not gonna get done, and then things are gonna fall apart at the seams. But is it truly my job to do that? No. What I could have done was, hey, I can assist you, but I'm not going to do it for you. What do you need in order to get this task done? Or are you confused on this? Instead of doing it for people, it's literally just a refresh. It's almost like if you think of like your phone, right? And it's got a systems update, and we all hate it. Why? Because things are going to change on your damn phone. And sometimes you don't even notice what changed. You're like, why did I need this update? What is it? What was it? And some things, it just reorganizes your whole freaking screen on your phone, and you're just like, oh my gosh, my apps are everywhere. But on hindsight, you're like, okay, I don't even use this one, take it out. Oh, I can organize this into a folder, blah, 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 blah. That's on the lighter part of things. So, as we try to find balance, let's talk a little bit more about the fall equinox. So, as I stated, this is equal lengths of daylight and darkness, and this is across the globe. So, let's take a look at the autumn equinox. And it really does mark a turning point in the year. As I said, the day and night are about equal in length. This is where we have that balance. And as we said goodbye to this eclipse season, right? I know it's not too far off our heels, but as you are coming into reflection, now we really look here and looking ahead, right, for this harvest. Now, I know not all of us are farming, not all of us are harvesting, but for example, I got really bold and I bought tomato plants. And to be honest, I bought a ton of plants, but one of them had spider mites. And boy, if you know, you know that those little shits will just hop from plant to plant and literally kill it. And I had no idea. Needless to say, everything else died except for my tomato plants. And literally harvesting those little cherry tomatoes brings me so much joy, you guys. Like, I wish I can just explain how much joy it brings me. So, it's not just what we're harvesting in real life, but also just around you. What are you harvesting? Was there a goal that was met? Did you set boundaries before and you stood on business? Did a manifestation come to fruition? We want to start looking at our wins, no matter how big or small you think that they are. This is the time where we really look at our abundance. Easy as human beings just to look at the negative and our quote unquote bad luck. But at this time, we want to shine light on our harvest. And spiritually, the autumn equinox really invites you to recognize what you're cultivating in your life. Did you finish a project, friend? I know some friends of mine who are freaking all stars and doing home renovations, office renovations, and I'm looking at it like, wow, I could never. I'm gonna hire someone real quick. But sometimes I don't give myself credit, but I sure as shit am giving my friends credit. And I'm going to give you that credit also, friend. You are finishing things up, or maybe you started something very difficult and you're still working on it. Maybe you were deepening a relationship with others. Maybe you're deepening a relationship with yourself, your own personal growth. This is gratitude for everything around you. And I do have a gratitude journal that I had started, and it wasn't anything fancy, okay? It was like literally a journal in a composition notebook. And I started this practice when my Reiki master was teaching, and it's good to to honor gratitude, right? As part of Reiki, and it's showing gratitude, but not in the way you think, like, oh, I'm so grateful. And this is not spiritual bypassing. Like, I'm so grateful that I this, and this. I put little things. So honestly, like, I was so grateful that there was a certain part of the morning where I was driving to work and I saw exactly when the sun was rising with some clouds and the sky looked like cotton candy. It was beautiful. There was another morning where I woke up so early that the moon was still out, but the way that it was over my house, I was grateful. I was able to see and experience that. And as we look into the autumn equinox, at least for myself here in the desert, I don't really get to see the leaves changing, but maybe you do. And as the trees are shedding their leaves, I want you to stop and think like how uncomfortable change can be. And as we're going through this change, right? We're a change in weather, maybe a change in mindset, maybe a change in your background and your surroundings. Whatever change is calling you, start honoring it. Give it some space. Give that thought some space. What if you were to quit and start brand new in a career that brought you so much joy in your childhood? I love photography. I miss it. What if I were to quit this and really start going into photography? The reason that I didn't, at the time, it was drilled like you need to have a college degree. You need to have it. You have to have it in order, I guess, to be someone important, right? So now I'm in all this debt. But I wasn't really looking to get into journalism. I was really doing photography for the art of it, to capture moments. So yeah, I gave that thought some space. Sometimes we just need that pause. We just need that break and to dream, what if? Also, being a photographer scared the shit out of me because unless you're working at a studio or you have a studio, even then it's rough. It's rough out there being a photographer. It's not always a steady paycheck, and that did make me nervous. I don't like the change. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know where my next paycheck's going to be. That's scary. So, just even the smallest of shifts, like giving yourself that space to dream, you never know where it's going to take you. And like I said, showing gratitude. Yes, the leaves are changing and they separate from the tree, but as they sprinkle the ground, they still have a job to do. They're still working. Those leaves coat the ground and keep the ground nice and warm. Those leaves actually allow seeds to be that were planted or maybe there and give them a nice little environment so that way it can start to root, get stronger. So maybe when those leaves start to blow away with those autumn and winter winds or breezes, they're set, they're ready. And yeah, darkness is going to be a little longer than the daylight, but all seeds are planted in the soil. Those roots take hold in the soil, and in the soil, there's darkness, but you always push through. And darkness not meaning, oh, the negative or the bad. Darkness is coming within yourself. Darkness is never in a negative connotation as I'm talking to you. This is, when you sit and you close your eyes for meditation, there's some darkness and shadows, right? Your eyes are closed. When you go to sleep at night, your eyes are closed and in darkness, but you're dreaming, you're resting. So, yeah, the days grow shorter, but we become quieter as we begin to really go internally. Maybe this brings out a lot of our, I don't want to say maybe uncomfiness as the holidays roll in. And we'll talk about that at a later episode. But for today, just for this moment, I want you not to worry about the future of what's going to happen and look at the balance of what you have right now. There's so much beauty in the autumn equinox in Mabon, right? Because we're celebrating, we're noticing the different colors, we're noticing the foods that are coming into season. And we learn about ourselves. A lot of that just happened to come through all because a sponge slipped out of my hands and was out of my reach, or so I thought. So, things are not out of your reach, my friend. They're there. But are you willing to put a little elbow grease? See what I did there? And pull that stove out. Maybe get yourself a little dirty. Maybe really get in that work. Yeah, it's okay. You can cuss a few times, but you're continuing down the path. You're showing this is what I'm deserving of, and this is what I'm going to get. I'm going to continue to push forward. And you're just mindful of everything around you. I would love to hear how you're going to bring balance to your life. And remember, it doesn't have to be grand at all. Nice and easy. Let's enjoy this time where we are in balance with nature. This time of year where we can start getting all snuggly, even if it's just within ourselves. If you need something tangible on a sheet of paper, it could be a scratch sheet of paper, make two columns. On one side, I want you to put release, and on the other side, you're going to put embrace. One dark, one light to balance. And just meditate between the two of them. If you want, you can light a candle or two. And just notice the harmony between what we release and what we're embracing. It's a beautiful way just to show your own personal growth. Some housekeeping. Don't forget I have a Patreon. You're probably like, "Well, you got a Patreon?" Yeah, girl, I got a Patreon. It's new. It's in its new stages. But it's free to join, and then I do have paid tiers where, I drop a lot of good stuff. At least I think it's good stuff. And I invite you to come out and check it out. I'll leave everything linked in the notes below. I also have a newsletter that's free 99. You can sign up for the newsletter as well. You can catch me on all my socials. And as always, thank you for supporting this podcast. A lot of the reasons I push, my tarot readings, Reiki, this new Patreon is to help support this podcast. So that way I can continue this work that I love to do. Because we all know things in life ain't free. unfortunately. But I love to hear from you. I love to hear from listeners. I'm also taking any spooky or the unexplained stories for spooky season just around the corner. So you can submit all that in. And if you feel comfortable, let me know. I'll share your name or a pseudonym, but I would love to read those on the air. All right, gorgeous soul. Until next time, I will see you at the crossroads. Thank you for listening to this episode of Susie's Enchanted Crossroads. I'd love to hear what resonated with you, so don't be shy. Tap the links in the show notes to send a message or share your thoughts. Make sure you leave a review because your voice helps this community grow and guides others to find this podcast and their magic. Want even more enchantment between episodes? Sign up for my weekly newsletter for rituals, energy tips, and exclusive updates. And don't forget to follow me on my socials on Instagram and TikTok for your daily doses of magic, silliness, and behind the scene moments. If you felt a little magic today, share this episode with a friend who might need it. And until next time, I will see you at the crossroads.